Антраль для здоров'я печінки та підшлункової залози. Антраль.
Thank you for raising this extremely important topic. It is also crucial for Ukraine. And for the last 19 months, Ukraine is inspiring the world with its resistance. And what we discovered, Ukrainian resistance has a female face. And this is not an exaggeration. Journalists always ask me about the role of Ukrainian women in the war. And each time I emphasize that our women have lived through everything, felt all the risks and challenges, and have taken on responsibilities in all spheres. It's not just about the refugees who evacuate children and elder relatives to safe places. It's also about the doctors, because most of them are women, teachers who continue to teach. They are mostly women also. We have a powerful volunteer movement, and most of its activists are women as well. There are more and more women in a military service. 60,000, although it is voluntary for them. There are even female artillery commanders. By the way, one of them is a former teacher. An interesting fact, in Ukraine traditionally we have more women with a degree than men, 47%, compared to 36%. And now all this female knowledge and the experience are being directed towards saving the country and those around us. It sounds like equality, isn't it? However, only from one perspective, from the perspective of responsibilities. Because at the same time, women have become more vulnerable, losing their jobs, their businesses. Women used to run most of our small businesses, and they were first to suffer. Very often their shops, salons, firms were burned down along with the cities they were located in. And now back to the topic of the meeting, add the gender pay gap to all these challenges. I would like to remind you right away, this is not only a Ukrainian issue. In the EU, women earn 13% less than men and are less likely to become top managers. Women often underestimate themselves. For example, there were more women than men participated in the grand competitions for the entrepreneurs in Ukraine this year. However, organizers noted that women asked for less funding for their projects. To combat this, Ukraine joined the European Biarritz Partnership for Gender Equality. Just a couple of figures. If in 2015 the gender pay gap in Ukraine was 26%, in 2021 we reduced it to 18%. And when the Russian invasion began, I personally had a fear that our development would perish first in the war, that we all would find ourselves surviving but not living. And I'm glad that it hasn't come true. And I'm happy the state made a fundamental decision to develop and improve even during the war, despite the war. And last Friday, the Ukrainian government approved of the national strategy of overcoming the gender pay gap in Ukraine until 2030. Does it look ambitious for a country in war? Yes, it does. But we want to turn our trauma into growth. We continue to work towards equality during the war. But an important additional component is victory, so that our women can return from immigration, so that they can work and earn decent wages in their homeland, so that new businesses can open. We desperately need victory. Therefore, when people talk about supporting Ukraine, you can be sure that any support for Ukraine will also impact our women, their equality. They have taken on so many responsibilities now that there is an obligation to provide them with every opportunity, as well as confidence and justice. And this is not a legal duty, but a moral as well. These are universal values for which Ukraine is also currently fighting. Thank you.
I don't know how, but it's something that
Let's see how that's going to play out. Because
мне кажется, что он какой-то русский Facebook. It's very difficult.
Prime Minister of Iceland, the First Lady of Ukraine.
But you could make it through.
Well, I guess they have the OECD. Thank you so much for.
So do not stay after night. Я канадка, я представляю Україну. The reason my shows are only 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, so I should be on my shows, but Bloomberg is very... What, did we have a request from you?
I think I remember hearing about a request.
We have so many... I think we're almost ready. Bloomberg Television here in New York. We'd like to thank, first of all, the Equal Pay. It's been a rainy day outside, so thank you so much for just rushing in. It's a very, very hectic sort of try to bring more understanding to the challenges that still lie ahead as we stand united against. Have we made progress? What else needs to be done? And also, in 2019, Iceland, Madam Prime Minister, we welcome you to the stage.
Gender gap in general, but gender pay gap actually remains important factors in our work towards eliminating all forms of violence against women and girls. Now, I believe it's the only country to have closed more than 9, and Icelandic men too have been fighting for gender equality now for decades. And
the fact that together with the colleague, UN Women OECD with our convention on equal pay itself out. We have to keep in mind that we still have 20% of the gap. Worldwide it's 20%, which is quite and the solution that has to pass by it's part of our expertise on that. The issue from different angles. And this is why for us.
Director of UN Women as well. You of course advocated raising awareness. Some of the pledges in 2018 were about really
Intergovernmental Labour Affairs of Canada, and also of your co-organized an epic session at the Women Deliver in Kigali this year. Ukraine, an epic member, to develop the national strategy of decreasing the gender pay gap, and we've heard how Ukraine is working. In all that, in all those areas, women and girls are the priority that we work on and the most affected. Gap report for East and Southern Africa, and it is the first of its kind. And we believe that the Equality Accelerator on women in the world of work. We look forward to our continued collaboration to reduce the gender pay gap by 2030, which is so important for us.
You mentioned all of these efforts that...
It's a little bit upside down that the supporting band takes the stage after the real superstars, but so it's really worthwhile. So now to some of the findings. I guess that's in 2000 and it was at 18%. And now it's come down to 12%. So I mean, it is progress, right? But it's also